Hey, what's up? Archangel Revelations. Biani here. And I want to do a... I'll give you your message, actually, from God. Aquarius. For all Aquarians, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, all Aquarius placements. I'm going to be doing the reading for 2020. And I'm channeling your energy. And God told me He wants me to give you this message. So... if you go into your books and you want to follow along, just go to Judges 10, passage 10. Tola. After the time of Abimelech, a man of Issachar, Tola, son of Puah, the son of Dodo, rose to save Israel. He lived in Shamir, in the hill country of Ephraim. He led Israel 23 years, and then he died and was buried in Shamir. Jair. He was followed by Jair of Gilead, who led Israel 22 years. He had 30 sons who rode 30 donkeys. They controlled 30 towns in Gilead, which to this day are called Havoth Jair. When Jair died, he was buried in Kamon. Jephthah. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They served the Baals and the Ashtoreths and the god of Aram, the gods of Sidon, the gods of Moab, the gods of the Ammonites, and the gods of the Philistines. And because the Israelites forsook the Lord and no longer served him, he became angry with them. He sold them into the hands of the Philistines and the Ammonites, who that year shattered and crushed them. For 18 years they oppressed all the Israelites on the east side of the Jordan in Gilead, the land of the Amorites. The Ammonites also crossed the Jordan to fight against Judah, Benjamin, and the houses of Ephraim, and Israel was in great distress. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord, "We have sinned against you, forsaking our God and serving the Baals." The Lord replied, "When the Egyptians, the Amorites, the Ammonites, the Philistines, the Sidonians, the Amalekites, and the Ammonites oppressed you, and you cried to me for help, did I not save you from their hands? But you have forsaken me and served other gods, so I will no longer save you. Go and cry out to those gods you have chosen. Let them save you when you are in trouble." But you have forsaken me and served other gods, so I will no longer save you. Go and cry out to the gods you have chosen, and let them save you when you are in trouble. But the Israelites said to the Lord, "But we have sinned. Do with us whatever you think is best, but please rescue us now." Then they got rid of the foreign gods among them and served the Lord. And he could hear Israel's misery no longer. When the Ammonites were called to arms and camped in Gilead, the Israelites assembled and camped at Mizpah. The leaders of the people of Gilead said to each other, "Whoever will launch the attack against the Ammonites will be the head of all those living in Gilead." Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty warrior. His father was Gilead. His mother was a prostitute. Gilead's wife also bore him sons, and when they were grown up, they drove Jephthah away. "You are not going to get any inheritance in our family," they said, "because you are the son of another woman." So Jephthah fled from his brothers and settled in the land of Tob, where a group of adventurers gathered around him and followed him. And some time later, when the Ammonites made war on Israel, the elders of Gilead went to get Jephthah from the land of Tob. "Come," they said, "be our commander, so we can fight the Ammonites." Jephthah said to them, "Didn't you hate me and drive me from my father's house? Why do you come to me now, when you're in trouble?" The elders of Gilead said to him, "Nevertheless, we are turning to you now. Come with us to fight the Ammonites, and you will be our head over all who live in Gilead." Jephthah answered, "Suppose you take me back to fight the Ammonites, and the Lord gives them to me. Will I really be your head?" The elders of Gilead replied, "The Lord is our witness. We will certainly do as you say." So Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and commander over them. And he repeated all his words before the Lord in Mizpah. Then Jephthah sent messengers to the Ammonite king with the question, "What do you have against us that you have attacked our country?" The king of the Ammonites answered Jephthah's messengers, "When Israel came up out of Egypt, they took away my land from the Arnon and Jabbok all the way to the Jordan. Now give it back peaceably." Jephthah sent back messengers to the Ammonite king, saying, "This is what Jephthah says. Israel did not take the land of Moab or the land of the Ammonites. But when they came up out of Egypt, Israel went through the desert to the Red Sea and on to Kadesh. And then Israel sent messengers to the king of Edom, saying, 'Give us permission to go through your country.' But the king of Edom would not listen. They sent also to the king of Moab, and he refused. So Israel stayed at Kadesh. Next they traveled through the desert, skirted the lands of Edom and Moab, passed along the eastern side of the country of Moab, and camped on the other side of the Arnon. They did not enter the territory of Moab, for the Arnon was its border. Then Israel sent messengers to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, and said to him, 'Let us pass through your country to our own place.' Sihon, however, did not trust Israel to pass through his territory. He mustered all his men and encamped at Jahaz, and fought with Israel. Then the Lord, the God of Israel, gave Sihon and all his men into Israel's hands, and they defeated them. Israel took over all the land of the Amorites who lived in the country, capturing all of it from the Arnon to the Jabbok, and from the desert to the Jordan. Now, since the Lord, the God of Israel, was driven the Amorites out before his people Israel, what right have you to take it over? Will you not take what your God Chemosh gives you? Likewise, whatever the Lord our God has given us, we will possess. Are you better than Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever quarrel with Israel or fight with them? For 300 years Israel occupied Heshbon, Aroer, and the surrounding settlements, and all the towns along the Arnon. Why didn't you retake them during that time? I have not wronged you, but you are doing me wrong by waging war against me. Let the Lord, the judge, decide the dispute this day between Israelites and the Ammonites." The king of Ammon, however, paid no attention to the message Jephthah sent him. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah. He crossed Gilead and Manasseh, passed through Mizpah of Gilead, and from there he advanced against the Ammonites. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord, "If you, Lord, give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph from the Ammonites will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering." Okay. Then Jephthah went over to fight the Ammonites, and the Lord gave them into his hands. He devastated 20 towns from Aroer to the vicinity of Minnith, as far as Abel Keramim. Then Israel subdued Ammon. When Jephthah returned to his home in Mizpah, who should come out to meet him but his daughter, dancing to the sound of tambourines? She was an only child. Except for her, he had neither son nor daughter. When he saw her, he tore his clothes and cried, "Oh, my daughter! You have made me miserable and wretched, because I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." "My father," she replied, "you have given your word to the Lord? Do to me just as you promised, now that the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the Ammonites. But grant me this one request," she said. "Give me 2 months to roam the hills and weep with my friends, because I will never marry." "Oh, you may go," he said. And he let her go for 2 months. She and the girls went into the hills and wept because she would never marry. After the 2 months, she returned to her father, and he did to her as he had vowed, and she was a virgin. From this comes the Israelite custom that each year the young women of Israel go out for 4 days to commemorate the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite. You know, this is the age of Aquarius. Aquarius, this is your time. I think what the Lord is trying to tell us what are you trying to tell Aquarius, Lord? There's like a somber silver lining to this story, to this passage in the Bible. I'm going to dig in a little deeper. Judges. We're in the book of Judges, the year 2020. 10. Tola. Are we taking toll of where we've been and where we're going? But we are now in unprecedented times. And you know it. It's taking a toll on you. Becoming more awakened, more aware. Have you become aware of how you're a leader? Have you taken on your leadership position? Because this is your time, Aquarius. You're the alchemist. So it's time that you fix that gaping hole in your heart with something of value. Have you been nurturing yourself, Aquarius? Nurturing that inner child by spending time with your inner child? Because I know you have a tendency to shut that out. This is the year where you get to deal with it. Everybody's getting to deal with it, not just you, but you particularly. Sorry about the lighting and the sun setting, and I got a weird vibe going for you, Aquarius. Anyways, it's a little shady, huh? A little bit of a shady vibe. Trust me, it's definitely shady time. Shady times. But know that things that you used to probably been able to get away with, you're gonna no longer be able to get away with. So things are becoming a lot more transparent in your life as to who you really are. And I sense a little bit of hostility from you. Not in a ravaged way, but like in a tempered way. Because you have to. You're going to be taking on that leadership role. So, you definitely have tempered it back going into this decade. Woo! My cat just almost knocked over my candle. Ooh. Yeah, Pepper. I sense that you're being cautious this year. You've always been guarded, Aquarians. But I sense that you are dropping some of your guard, even, and that you're going to be in good spirits going into 2020. You're starting to open your hearts a little bit, which is wonderful to see. And that's pretty much where this age of Aquarius is going into. It's almost like the love revolution. Like you're becoming more aware that, we're easing into it, guys, okay? But we're becoming more aware as a collective, especially Aquarius, that things are shifting in a way where we're not quite used to. We're airy energy. So usually we adapt pretty easily to changes, but this one's a little weird because we're not used to being in our feelings. Not at all. We usually shut this stuff off. Shut it all out. But now you're going to realize in 2020 you can't shut it out anymore. Because it's keeping you stagnant. And you can't take it no more. This stagnant energy is debilitating. It's like, what do I do with myself? You sit there, spin your wheels because you're an air sign. And think and don't go nowhere. So now it's like, damn, I gotta start taking action. Right? So how are you gonna take action in the year 2020, Aquarius? This is the intuitive part. I'm not speaking from God. God was all we just read in Judges, book 10 and 11. 111. What does that mean to you? 1011. The Holy Trinity, the Father, the God, and the Holy Spirit.
Do you have the blue chart?